Okay, well, it's game week, so that was good. Fall camp, I think it was a positive. I think this team worked extremely hard. A lot of competition, young kids, obviously, with the 50 new kids in the program. A lot of new, but I thought they handled it well. The veterans did a great job of, including the young kids in the team and getting to know each other. I think they bonded well, which to me is a big part of a fall camp. Yeah, we really shifted gears middle of last week as far as not really breaking camp, but moving on to the opponent in Wake Forest. So all in all, I think that fall camp was a good, solid camp. Wake Forest, very good football team. A lot of momentum coming off last season, obviously with big bowl victory, explosive offense, very well coached defense, in my opinion. That's one of the first things I try to watch when I watch defense is just, how are they, gap sound, technique, fundamentals, regardless of coverages and all the things that come with it. How do they tackle? How do they run to the ball? And they got good coaches. It's very clear. And they got good players. We'll have our hands full on both sides of the ball. Talented quarterback, does a lot of good things, likes contact, likes to run, physical kid, tough-minded guy. And I think that the whole football team kind of carries themselves that way as far as tough guys who love to go out and compete and keep playing and keep battling, which was evident in the bowl game. They fell down in the bowl game score-wise and kept on fighting and found a way to come back and win the game. So this will be get on our airplane, fly across the country. We'll travel the right way. We'll be fine with that, and wait all day Friday and play Friday night. So we're excited about the opportunity, but much respect for Wake Forest in all three phases, and understand that flying over there and playing in their stadium will be a big challenge, and we're excited about it.
Where was the biggest change to me, at least looking at it? DJ played a lot of nickel in spring, and now he's gone back to corner. Can you talk a little bit about that and the reason for that?
Well, he may do both. We're going to rotate those back end guys through there a little bit, and DJ has the ability to come back and play nickel and play outside. He's obviously one of our best players. And we'll put him in a position to be able to be, successful and play both. But I don't think we're, first game of the year, and the point you're playing a pace offense, you'd like to be able to place a few corners back there, not just play three corners the whole time. I'm sure they're going to play more than three wide receivers or four wide receivers or whatever they're going to do in the back end and try to get repetition. So, we'd like to be able to get a few of those corners different reps, and that may mean sometimes DJ comes in and plays nickel.
Where was the hardest spot to decide for starters after in the places you needed to really work on, do you think, after the camp?
That's a good question. Probably wide receiver. There was a lot of competition at wideout, and there still is a lot of competition at wideout, and I think that'll become more clear as you play a game. See exactly when the ball gets in certain kids' hands, what takes place, who are the playmakers. That's the challenge on all three phases of a football team, is to make sure you give the playmakers a chance, but there should be a lot of competition, a lot of people fighting for touches at the wide receiver spot, but you got to catch them and you got to make plays, because in this offense, if you're just a guy that catches it and falls down, it doesn't do much use for the offense. At the end of the day, you must have the ability to make big plays at certain times in certain situations, so we'll see who's capable of doing that in 2019 very soon.
But you'd anticipate almost then all the guys at receiver will probably play
sometime
in the game then too.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll roll those guys through. And a lot of the young kids, we're not going to pull a bunch of, one game. You get four with those young, brand new kids, and not a lot of those young kids will be popping in there and playing in game one. They don't need to. They need to travel first and, get their feet wet and understand what a game is, what a situation is, what it's like pregame, all the stuff that comes with it, and a big time stadium, and traveling across the country. So if they are freshmen and they play in this game, we're planning on using them all year long, not just for 4 games. And that fluctuates, that changes, but that's the game plan going in.
Gary, I guess what aspects of fall camp, whether they were positional groups or technical nuances, really exceeded your expectations?
Exceeded my expectations. I don't know if there's really anybody that exceeded my expectations. I was very happy with the progress. Get the D linemen back on the field was great, because we had basically a bunch of them had those injuries they were taking care of in spring, and they've all stayed healthy and been in a good spot. So that's that's a real bright spot just because we hadn't seen them live, right? We'd seen them train and lift and run a little bit and do some things, but we'd never seen those guys live. Other than that, I'd say I'll probably answer that question a lot better next week, Monday.
This Wake Forest, looking at them last year, they're about as balanced
No doubt.
offensively as you can be. I mean, they want to run, but then it looks like to me they run it kind of like you guys do too, with one back a lot of times. Is that kind of the way it is? Or
No
can you
doubt.
talk about that.
Yeah, they they want to run the ball with a physical presence. There's a lot of gap schemes with pullers trying to create another gap moving through there. They do that and have been very effective doing that. They not afraid to run the quarterback. And the quarterback, trust me, is not afraid to run the football. He likes it. You can see it on film. He likes to run the ball. And there's the play that always jumps out of my mind. It was they hit a big pass in the bowl game. I believe Memphis jumped off sides. They hit a fade route or a big pass play, and the very next play, the kid gets hit like 5 times and runs right through all the tackles and scores a touchdown. So he's a competitor. And that point of the game, it was a couple touchdowns for Memphis and got him right back in the game in 2 plays. And it just shows, his toughness, his capabilities, and his want to carry his team on his back. And I got this thing, let's go. So, but they want to be able to run the ball, good running backs. They lost a quality back last year to graduation, obviously, but they got a quality back coming back, and good football players. And the offensive line wants to be physical. They want to get up in your face, and they play football the right way. It's obvious they're a tough-minded football team, which they have to be in that league, right? And that's what my mindset is, to get in that league and be physical and knock around people regardless who they're playing. And they play some quality opponents in that league. And I've watched every tape. There's not one game where all of a sudden you see them play against somebody and they play any different. They're tough and physical and want to get after you every snap, and whether it's going their way or it's not, which is a sign of a tough football team.
Their 2 leading receivers are 6'3", 6'5", and big kids who like 220, 225. How good of a test is this going to be for your secondary?
Yeah, this will be a big test, especially with all the RPOs, and they take those shots down the field and all the things that come back out of there. So, contested balls are obviously a big part of the game of football, and we say it all the time to our receivers, we've got to catch the contested balls, and I'm sure they're saying the exact same thing. And, they'll have a height advantage. There's no doubt about it. They're going to have a height advantage in that situation when you have that tall wide receivers, and that'll be a challenge. I think mixing things up, don't make it be just a open book test for understanding kind of what we're doing on the back end with our coverages and different things will be important. They do a nice job of creating some formations that don't let you disguise much. You just kind of have to show your hand. Again, it goes back to there's good coaches over there coaching those guys the right way and putting their quarterback and the wide receivers in the position to make plays. So that'll be a challenge, and I'm excited to see how our guys match up against them.
That's what their coach said in the ACC thing I watched. Coaches, the reason you're doing no huddles is really to ruin the defense being able to change or do anything. You kind of have to, even though they may not huddle or may take their time, you kind of have to line up one way. Is that kind of the truth, really, behind the defensive philosophy of that?
It is. When you play with pace, number one, you're trying to wear them out, and at the end of the day, offenses can be structured at times to not have to run around and move quite as much as defenses. That's just the way the way the game's played. So that's part of it. Second part of it is absolutely to not let you substitute. When you get into a drive, you don't substitute and you're going fast, whether you're going fast to just get on the ball and then you back off and you look over and get the play call you want, but you're not allowing the defense to bring in fresh bodies. And it's a huge weapon. It's one of those weapons where, quite frankly, on defense, you can't do anything about it. If they want to keep you on the field and you're stuck on the field, then you're stuck on the field. So you don't have, back in the days, we'd go into a game with 4 or 5 different packages of people. When you're playing a team like Wake Forest or you're playing a team like us, it's not real feasible to have those packages because you're going to be practicing stuff that they never let you get to most of the time. So, those are big pieces to the puzzle, and there's give and take in all things, but those are some of the things with the spread offense that causes issues.
And they were really good punt return team last year. I know for sure. They had the one, but the guys I think left or went to another
he went to the
school.
NFL.
Yeah. But he was a good player, but they must have a scheme or whatever. And you guys feel good about your special teams, so that could really be a big part of this game.
Yeah, it could be. Special teams is a huge part of it, and we take great pride in it. We spend a lot of time on it. We should be good at special teams, and again, just from what I know of their program, which is from afar and studying them some over the summer and obviously very hard in the last few days, they're solid on special teams, and that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. From the way that you watch them on tape, you gain respect for a good group of kids that play hard and do it the right way. But on special teams, they'll expect to change the game in a positive way for themselves, just like we'll expect to change the game in a positive way for ourselves in special teams.
Bassey, over the last 2 years, has broken up 31 passes for them. I guess, what do you see on film that stands out, makes him a great player?
Well, his ability to, I think he has good pre-snap awareness. I haven't spent as much time watching that side of the ball, but what I hear from our coaches on that side of the ball is that, he appears to be a student of the game. Great reactive skills, which you have to have when you have that ability. And when he gets into a position to get into a 50-50 ball or a contested ball, he does a very nice job of, getting his hands in position or making the hit that causes some issues to keep the ball in control by the receiver, whoever's, catching that ball at that moment or that time. Good player and well-deserving. I know he's one of their main guys, and he's played in a Power 5 conference and done very well. And, basically every game you throw on, the kid plays very well. He'll probably be playing football for a long time.
Can you make a comment about your offensive line, how it's come together, and what you think?
Yeah, the offensive line, 4 new starters, obviously. And I've said it 1,000 times, we were all in with these kids in January, and we're still all in with them. I'm excited to see them play. This will be a stiff test for them, walking into that situation in that setting with this defensive front, and it's going to be fun to see what they can do and how they hold up. I think we all saw in the Florida game this last weekend and the Miami game that that was a huge part of that football game. You need to be able to run your offense, and you can't run your offense without an offensive line that can't protect or can't run block or whatever. And I think we got to do a good job of getting the ball out on time, and doing what we do as far as those things go, and taking advantage of stretching the field and letting Jordan do his deal. But we've got to be able to run the football, and that's going to be a big factor in the whole thing, is the ability to be able to hand the ball off to some what we think are quality backs, but it doesn't matter how good the back is if the room's not there. So this is going to be, we'll sit back when this thing's all over in January, and how that offensive line played probably will be exactly, where we sat as a football team. And they're young. We expect them to be very, very good. But the sooner they mature and show that they can do it, I think we could be special. But those 5 guys are going to have to get it done, and really we've got 8 of them that we feel pretty good about. So, but that's just the youth. You just don't know. You got a 13-year-old and you're raising a 13-year-old, you never know what's going to happen the next day, right? So it's kind of where we are with those kids right now. They're teenagers, and they got to go grow up fast in a man's game. So it'll be fun to watch that.
3 of your my first 3 players for the game program features are COC, Caleb, and Riley, all grad transfers. Especially with COC and Caleb, talk about your relationship with them and what it means to have them follow you here up to Utah State.
Well, COC, Caleb, and then obviously I'd put Nick in there. Nick played for me last year at Utah too. Nick's a little different. He has 2 years left, so that's a real positive for us as we move forward. But, it was just got to know those kids. 2 of them were in my room, so I had Nick and Caleb in my room, and getting to know COC from afar was awesome. COC was a kid that kind of hung out with some of the defensive line guys in our meeting rooms, kind of crossed paths and whatever. So it took a while to, get to know him. But I think that as he went through all the things he was going through last year, and we got a little bit of a relationship while I was there. And I think when Caleb had made the decision that that's what he wanted to be able to do, I think COC saw it as a normal transition for him to say, "That's a great place. I know Coach A. I think I fit, and I believe that they all trusted me." And but it's awesome to have them here. If they were going to go anywhere, I wanted them to be here. They're good players, number one. Number two, they're great kids, and they've adjusted so well to this system, and our kids have really let them into this system and let them, jump right in and be part of this football team. So I want them to be successful. I hope in January that they get all they want out of their senior years, the ones that are seniors, and the ones that are not are going to come back and, have another go-around with us. So, but they're special kids, and I'm just happy we could, give them an opportunity, and I'm happy they decided to come with us.
Caleb hasn't played offense for 3 years. He seems pretty excited. It doesn't look like he's missed a.
Yeah, Caleb is a tremendous athlete. He's a good football player, and whether he was a defensive end, tight end, playing wide receiver, he's been a very good player, a great special teams player also. So we expect big things out of him. But yeah, he's natural. He can go out and he can play in that spot wherever you need him to, and whether it's blocking on the end line of scrimmage or it's running a pass route or doing whatever you need him to do, and he might even pop in there on some third downs and rush the passer. Who knows? So we'll see what happens.
And then Riley Bird, what was his? How did you get him on here?
Riley was, Riley was when we found out Riley was looking to make a decision to go play somewhere else. I talked to Kalani and I talked to Eliza both, and obviously they've both been with me for a number of years throughout time, and just tried to get information and see exactly what the scenario and the situation was, and we thought that it would be a good natural fit for us. We knew at that point we were looking for a couple more backs, 3 more backs at that point to be able to get in. We got all 3 of them here, which is a nice thing, and we got a freshman, and we got Riley, and obviously we got Jalen. So we kind of got ourselves a senior, a junior, and a freshman in that setting in all 3 of those spots. And again, always to filter those classes together as much as we can. Now we got 2 senior running backs with G and Riley, but Riley was a natural fit for us. He's had some good games. He's been in a lot of college football. He's been in an environment of good and bad. He's faced adversity and he's got some toughness that he's ground through. So I think he's been a great kid again since he's been here, and he's kind of coming home to play too, which I think that's important to him. He gets to come back home and be not very far away from his parents and his family, and gets to play right here for his senior year. So he's excited, and we're excited to have him.
Fall camp for us, obviously it'd be hard when you're learning a new defense, but I feel like overall as a defense we all handled that well. I feel like, just scheme-wise is better for how we fit as far as defensive front and defensive back. Towards the second part of fall camp, I feel like we all came together as far as completely learning the defense. It was not that many mistakes. Everybody knew their assignments, and we finished strong. So.
What do you remember about the Wake Forest game? It wasn't a very good day overall.
It wasn't good overall, but it was very humid. Water wasn't as good either, but they did a lot of things well that game. They out-schemed us as far as when we try to blitz during the run to go to the opposite side. They did all RPO, first play, I remember. It was RPO, touchdown. I think the safety got his eyes caught in the backfield, and they scored. Before we knew it, it was a lot of points in a short period of time. So.
Yeah, no, it's always your goal to stop the run, but Wake rushed for a lot of yards in that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, first and foremost, is that kind of your objective as a defense going into that game?
Yeah, we pride ourselves, especially being basically a lot of seniors on defensive line. We also pride ourselves for being the leaders as far as on the team, and also, we set a standard, nobody can run on us. We don't matter what conference you at, no matter what's your record, it don't matter. That's just what we set the standard is, and, it's going to be hard for anybody to run on us. So.
Are you a lot? It's more of a 4-man front in some ways, but you can still be mixing variables with those kind of things.
Yeah.
But you played some 4 last year.
Yeah.
In some ways. Is it really a big change defensively with what we did last year?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that to an extent. I just feel like from moving to a 4-eye to a 3-tech, it's not really different because I'm still taking up the same amount of blocks no matter what. We all just gotta dominate the man in front of us and just help our linebackers flow to the ball as quickly as possible. I think that's what happened during the first matchup, the second matchup. They got to our linebackers quick, and their zone is very slow. So you gotta be very patient, because they hold the ball, they hold the mesh point, and they wait till somebody just come, get out there a gap, and let the ball go. And they can go for either 10 yards or it can go for a touchdown. So, we got to be gap sound when it comes to that. And,
What have you seen out of Jimmy Newman on film quarterback for Wake Forest?
He's a big guy. You know, he's not scared of no contact. I respect his size. You know, I watched him come back from, I think they was down a lot in the Memphis game. He had a lot of poise in that game, brought his team back, and they ended up winning the game. So I do have a lot of respect for him. He's a big cat. Yeah, for the most part. So. Also, their offensive line, they very big, tremendous size, but they're I think starting left tackle towards ACL last year, so we couldn't get a lot of film on him. But I played against him 2 years ago. He got very quick feet, and they moved a bunch of guys around. And I think this is the center's first game actually starting, I believe. So that should be fun to, you know, go against. So,
They seem like they're pretty young on the offensive line when I look at their depth chart. I mean, they have that senior, I guess, a graduate who's going to be coming back.
Yeah.
But how much can experience play into a game like this, or does it even affect it at all?
My honest opinion, I don't think experience really affects the game. I just feel like more of chemistry as an old offensive line. You know, it don't matter as long as you trust a guy next to you to do his job. I feel like that should be the only part that really should matter. You know, if you know your guy got the assignment next to you, you can work on what you need to work on. You know, so I think just I don't know, like as far as getting the blues out, probably the first play, like that's the only thing I say is acceptable. That's it. So.
That was a really good answer. What do you feel, Devon, were the biggest strides you guys made as a defense during fall camp?
I think we got good depth. I think those guys, like if I go down or somebody go down, it's not gonna be like a panic, you know. We believe in every guy in our room, D-line, linebackers, cornerbacks, safeties. You know, we believe the ones, twos, the threes all can do the same as the ones. I feel like that's probably the number one thing that going into like the season is probably good. We got a lot of depth and people that know what they're doing. As far as experience, we got Troy Leffridge, Cash, Shaq. Shaq started last year. Who else? Like all the backing guys. I mean, I think they got enough experience, especially coming from a junior college. So I'm not really worried about anything. So.
Just a quick thought on just this year for you and what your feelings are going into this year compared to other years.
I don't know. It's kind of like unreal to even think that I'm a senior now. It went by so fast. Like Utah gave me a lot of opportunities, especially Utah State. But like just being in the state of Utah is so beautiful. I got to do things I never thought I would do. But going into the season, it's more of a mindset of like I feel like nobody really knows my name, and like it humbles me. And I'm not big on accolades or anything like that, but I feel like I do my job well, and that's all everybody I think. But I just feel like I got to prove a lot of people wrong to like basically get my name out there to know that I feel like I'm a force to reckon with. I know we got Tipa, I know we got Four, I know we got Chris, a bunch of guys, Justice, we got a bunch of guys, but I feel like I'm going to do my 111, and I'm going to make sure every team feel my 111. So.
Yeah, so just fall camp, it was a really good camp, I think. Going into camp, obviously offense, we had a lot of inexperienced people coming in, stuff like that, new faces. But I think every day in camp the offense got better. Grinded, just came together, built the chemistry we needed to build, and like I said, I'm excited for the season to start, and I like where we're at on the offense side of the ball.
Okay, I asked him about his thoughts. What are your thoughts back to the Wake Forest game and came after that bomb, and what else do you remember about that game?
Well, last time we went down there, obviously that was a tough game. Last time we went down there, I didn't get to come in until about third quarter, but it was just tough. I mean, their offense putting up a lot of points,
and our offense couldn't get much done. And then, I mean, it was cool when I got to come in the game, throw that touchdown to G. That was really cool. First college touchdown pass. So it was fun, but at the same time, we're getting smacked, so it wasn't too much fun. But it'll be a different story this time we go down there.
Do you think the time of the game and the score of the game made a little difference of how you did in that game? I mean, against them, do you think that, or hitting them with some big passes, because it wasn't just the touchdown, you got a couple of other big passes too.
Yeah, I think it just played a huge role in starting off like my career, really being able to go in there and do that. But I feel like the score of the game, I can't really remember what the score was at the time, but we were down a lot. But I mean, we were still fighting, still trying to come back. But it was, like I say, it was tough. So.
Did it change how you approached after that to go in and have some success?
Oh yeah, it definitely changed. I mean, just going in there and being like, okay, well, I could do this. Like I said, it just really jump-started my career and showed me what I could do, and I think it just helped me a lot.
Do you remember the play call, the route and everything?
Oh yeah, it was 93. It was trophy right 93. So hit G on a wheel.
I mean, we really did get a glimpse of your potential in that game there. So, I mean, how excited are you to get another crack at them?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. Especially I didn't get to play too much in that game, so excited to go back down there and just really show them what we're about now. But like I said, it's going to be a different story this time we go down there. And all I can say is I'm excited to start the season off down there.
Coach said that the biggest competition probably ended up being a wide receiver for who the guys are going to start, but it looks like most of the guys will probably play in those spots. But what did you see about the development of that group? You know, I mean, you told us when we started camp you thought they were a good group still. Mm-hmm. What do you think now?
Oh yeah, like I said, it's a really good group, and we got a lot of talent in that group. And like I said, through camp they've got better. There's a lot of competition out there. Just to really find out who's going to be the dudes. But like I said, we got so many dudes at the position still that are capable of making plays. So you'll see a lot of faces out there. They'll be rotating and stuff. But I'm excited to get them the ball. I mean, they're ready to show the world what they can do.
Did you how about the development of the offensive line in front of you? Those guys that they've settled in on now.
Oh yeah, it's the same in that area. I mean, we had a lot of competition there, moving dudes around, stuff like that, seeing who's going to fit. But they got a lot better too. That's the one group that got a lot better. I mean, you could just tell from the first day of camp to the last day. Pass pro, run blocking, all that. Just tremendous work they put in just to get better. And I got all the confidence in the world in them. So I'm excited to be behind them.
Yes, Jordan, what did you feel, what aspects of fall camp, whether they were positional groups or just technical nuances of things, did you feel that you guys exceeded expectations at?
What did we exceed the expectations? You talking just offensively or as a team?
Yeah, both.
Like I said, I think that just how much we got better every day. I mean, you could honestly go out there and see it. Just the chemistry's there, it's clicking, the offense getting better. And I think with our offense, just the pace. I mean, you can go out there and see how much faster we've been getting. People are getting the pace down, and it's about learning the offense and getting comfortable with it. And I think that's the one thing that we got a lot better at, is just being comfortable with the offense and knowing what we need to do on every play. So, I mean, obviously we're going to continue to get better with that once the season starts and once we get into some real game experience. But I think that's what got better.
I asked Devin about just what are your thoughts going into the year. Obviously, there's a lot of expectations. You handle these things well, we can tell, but you've got to be churning and excited and want to get out on the field and prove some of the stuff that people have been talking about or looking forward to seeing from you.
Oh yeah, like I said, we're super excited to get out there and just show. I mean, coming off last year, I mean, obviously we got a lot of hype for our team and stuff like that, but I don't think people are really understand what we're going to do this year. I mean, I think it's going to be a special season and a real big thing. So, like I said, I can't say much because we're just going to get out there and show you what we can do, really.
Our offense at times was unbelievable last year. Is it fair for us to think, can it do the same things this year?
Offense can do the exact same things. I think even better. I mean, just with our offense, like the high tempo, high speed offense. I mean, it's hard for defenses to stop it, especially when we get going. I think the main thing for us just to get that first play, that first down, and that's when we start rolling. But that's the one area we just got to keep getting better at, is just taking the field and getting that first down, and just letting the offense handle itself, just continuing to make plays.
I mean, even if there are a few growing pains early in the season with a number of new starters, how much confidence does having an experienced defense give you that? I mean, you can maybe have a couple of growing pains and still be good.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have all the confidence in the world in our defense as well. We got a lot of returners come back on defense, and like I said, I think that's one of the best defenses we'll face all year, and we'll go against them every day. So they're making us better. But it's easy for us on offense. I mean, you never want to see like 3 and outs and bad drives like that. But we know, I mean, our defense, they're going to go out there and handle the business. They did a great job last year getting a lot of turnovers and getting the ball back to us fast, and that helps us really go score fast. So it goes both ways. Our defense gets a lot of takeaways, and we try and put up points in a hurry. So.
Still get butterflies? I mean, first game, I mean, does it still hit you at all, or?
Oh yeah, you'll still get butterflies. I mean, I'll definitely still get butterflies first game, every game really. It's just that excitement building up, but not as much, I guess, as like the first time I hit the field and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just that excitement building up to finally get out there.